Hello and welcome to Rosette Season 2. Yes, we know we're a little late, but we've had a tougher time arranging our first recording of the season than Mark Cucurella's barber will of sorting his barnet out after Christian Romero got through with him. And what an opening show we've got in store for you. And of course, we're going to be giving you a blow-by-blow account of the Battle of the Bridge Part 2 as Thomas can't stay too cool in the face of Antonio getting a bit Conte. Sort of worked. We also ask why Liverpool can't get going, where Barca are getting their money from, and is Eric Ten Hag finally the man to help Manchester United realise their full potential and get them relegated to the Championship? And Cristiano Ronaldo's had Botox on his balls, so we'll probably talk about that too. We're also chuffed to bits to say we're going to be pumping you full of additional pod content every week as we partner with brand new platform Another Slice. So don't worry, you're still going to get the show every week on your podcast app of choice, but we'll also be giving you details of how you can get extra shows each week, including Rosette time added on, the People's Post bag, and even Rosette the Rude Bits, as well as details of any live shows and merch that we might knock out, yeah? Because all you need to do is head to anotherslice.com/Rosette Football. So here on Rosette, we're back for Season 2 after a very long intro. But sadly, some things are still the same as we welcome back Hannah East.
Oh, that's so cruel.
How are you doing,
Hannah?
That's
really nasty. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Right. You say you've been on holiday.
Yeah.
Has something happened and you're just living in the gym? And you've just been living in the gym for the past... Because you're sat on the floor in a gym.
Yeah, but I've got a Cantona shirt behind me. So,
yeah.
So, what's happened is I've moved house. And the reason that I was so late, it's 39, I was 39 minutes late for this recording because we came back from holiday yesterday from Canada and you guys messaged are we nearly ready? And I've literally just woken up. I have rolled out of bed. Because, so I haven't set anything up, which is why I'm sat on the floor in a gym because my kids are running around the house and they would be wanting to chat to you the whole time if they saw you on the laptop. So I'm in the gym.
But what's the time difference in Canada?
5 hours. Yeah,
because, Mike, I came back from Mexico yesterday, which has got a time difference of 2 hours, and I flew to Zurich and then came back to London. But I was here, wasn't I, Mike? So
You were like, why didn't you set an alarm on your phone? I was like, when would my kids ever sleep for this long? It's ridiculous.
No, I'm messing about because Hannah is always so on time. If anything, annoyingly early, and I'm always late. So I'm just keeping this one in the bank. How you doing, Mike?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I feel like I'm not seeing you guys in so long.
When was the last one we did in the studio?
It's been 2 months ago, 2.5 months or something.
End of the season. It's been a long summer, but it's been a good summer, so it's good to be back.
It's been a long, hot summer. What have you been up to, Mike?
I've been on holiday. I started a new job. I've fully moved into my new flat now. So yeah, it's been a bit mental, to be fair.
How is the new flat?
Yeah, it's nice, mate. It's nice.
Living with the missus. How's that going?
Yeah, a little shag pad.
Sorry?
Joking.
Joking. I'm sure she sees it as the home you're making together.
Yeah.
A little
it's
shag
all right.
pad.
She doesn't listen to it, so it's fine.
Has that how's that going though? Have you have you been bothering her every night, or has that settled down?
What, with all the shagging, you mean?
Well, yeah, we're just poking her in the back with
Stop shagger.
With your stroking her back with your long fingernail, trying to get her to touch it.
Oh, you know what? I was watching Breaking Bad yesterday, and I'm rewatching it because I'm sado. But there was one of the clients I was selling their meth to, and he had a really long fingernail. And I just thought, oh bloody hell! I know what Joe would be thinking if he saw that.
Uncle Stab.
That's not what it's used for. I don't think anyway. But yeah.
We need to find out. We need to find out what it's used for.
We need to get someone on who's got a long one that can talk to us about it. That's the next guest. That can be part of the premium content. Yeah, premium content, part 1. Find a bloke with a really long fingernail.
We're going to be doing some premium content, which basically what that means is you will still be getting exactly the same show every week, but I'm forcing Hannah and Mike to stay on and record for an extra hour or 2 each week so I can put out some extra fun stuff. Basically, the reason we're doing that is it's going to be on a subscription for a $5 a month to just get a few extra bits every month. And the reason for that is so that we've got more money to make the pod better, essentially. That's it. So that Hannah can get a chair to broadcast from next time instead of sitting on the floor. How was your holiday, Hannah?
It was really good, thanks. So our friends that we went to stay with, when we got there, they were like, "Oh, it was at 11:30 in the morning." They were like, "Oh, do you want a drink?" And I was like, "Oh, I'd love a cup of tea." And she's like, "Oh, you're not drinking tea though." And I was like, "Okay." Like
Tequila.
literally spent like 10 days just drinking. It was
Sounds great.
intense.
Yeah, every photo of you were drinking, or I could always tell when you're drunk because you sort of get a bit aggy on the group.
Yeah, there was quite a funny episode on the boat, Hannah, where you were sending
God.
pictures of your nasty toes, which
Yeah,
was not a very pleasant thing to wake up to.
So I've never. Can I say this on the pod about having a gummy, having weed?
Yes, of course you can.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so over there it's you're allowed to have weed. So my friend is like, "Oh, do you want a gummy?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't realize she meant it had weed in it. So I had this sweet, and it was like that big, and it was really like loads of sugar on it. It was really nice, and I was like, "Oh, that's good." And she's like, "Yeah, it's a gummy. It's not. You won't like have a bad effect on it." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And then she was like, "Well, it's weed." I was like, "I've just had drugs." I was like, "Oh, okay, right." And she didn't tell me beforehand. So, oh my God, I was sat, I felt like my arms extended like twice the length. Joe, did you just do it?
I did, yeah. I was like, yeah, been there.
And then my arms were like really long. And then I was sat there and I just felt like I couldn't move my shoulders very much. So, like every time I went to turn around, it was like everything was just, it was really weird. And then I couldn't stop laughing, like I'm just howling at everything, and then I looked down at my feet and I was like, why has everybody got such really nice feet? And I looked at my husband's feet. He's got really awful feet with hairy toes and like stumpy nails, but I thought his feet were so beautiful and so attractive. And then I was asking everyone to have pictures with their feet, and then I looked at mine and I was like, my feet look like Monster Munches, but yeah, I have awful feet, don't I? Because I'm sending you pictures of them.
But this is what I mean. I can always tell when Hannah's on it because we just get a mad message in the group, just like, guys, here's my feet. I've had a gummy. How long are my legs? Or something. It's just like
my arms feel so long.
And it's always just like, Hannah, who's looking after the children?
That's literally what Joe asked. That's literally what he asked.
Said, yeah, he did.
Where are your kids? What kids?
Kids? Well, they're on the shore playing.
But it is, well, I don't mind a bit of jazz cabbage from time to time. Now, so I bought a vaporizer quite recently because I don't want to have the tobacco, but and I try it. Mike's nodding, and but I've not really cracked it yet, so I can't work out how much to put in it. But yeah, it's a lovely feeling because so I do it kind of like once a week on a Saturday if I get back from pub.
What, you take marijuana?
Take marijuana. Well, yeah, I might puff a little herb on the balcony.
It's a liquid one, Joe, isn't it? The one you put in like a vape.
No, it's called a dry herb vaporizer, but we all know what you're vaporizing in the dry herb vaporizer. You're not putting oregano in there, you know what I mean? Not doing a bit of dill.
Parsley.
But yeah, no, but I'm going to get the liquid one because it's a bit harsh on the throat, this one. But it is illegal. But right, I was in... I'm not yeah, it's illegal.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. It's not illegal where you did it. You did it in a place where it's legal, so it's fine.
Yeah.
You're allowed, just because you're
loads
British.
Of them back.
Did you actually?
No, I'm joking.
I was like, that is illegal. You're not allowed to...
Yeah.
That is illegal.
Smuggling drugs.
With a cartel.
But I was having a chat with someone and we're basically saying like the thing is about weed is actually like it's considerably less harmful than alcohol. Like nobody's ever had a fight in a pub car park because they're stoned. Like, do you know what I mean? You would just like go and find some biscuits and like, have a chat.
Yeah, in moderation though. In moderation, obviously.
Everything in moderation.
It does have can have effects on your brain, I think.
Psychoactive
development.
Yeah, psychoactive. Yeah, exactly.
Because our mates are
just to put that out there.
Well, they're like in the police in Toronto, and they're like the crime and everything's gone right down since they've legalized it over there because people are just so stoned that they can't be asked to
everyone's
fight.
Giggling.
And everyone's just really happy. So, but yeah, I didn't realize that I'd taken substances until I started getting really paranoid about my toes and found them hilarious.
If you do have any spare gummies, Hannah, do you reckon we should do a
gummy episode?
A Rosette, gummy episode? That'd be quite fun, wouldn't it?
Oh my God, I just sit and laugh. I might be on time, but I just sit and laugh.
Well, just, I mean, to be honest, mate, just don't. I can sort that out. It's not a problem.
Yeah, don't leave me responsible.
I'd imagine between the two of us, Mike, we can get hold of some gummy. It's quite.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, you went to Niagara Falls, didn't you? That looked good.
Yeah, we did loads of stuff, but holidaying with kids is just different to having a holiday. Like, they don't sleep in the night because of the time difference. When you're on holiday and you go to a bar and you just have a drink and you're like, oh, this is nice. Like, you can never do that when you've got kids, because they want the toilet, they want to go and talk to people on another table, or it's just a different experience on holiday. But it was really nice. But at Niagara Falls, my 5-year-old, he wants to climb everything. So he wanted to climb the barriers. So I'm constantly having to pull him.
Bloody hell.
So when I look for my son, I don't look at ground level like that. I look up. That's what I have to do with him.
Like he's a monkey.
Climbs everything. Yeah, he climbs everything. And so when we're at Niagara Falls, he was climbing the railings. And I looked down. It's my biggest fear of mine, is that they climb a railing and drop down the other side, like probably every parent.
Yeah.
And he climbed the railing on one side, and I grabbed him, and it was really slippy, and pulled him because I looked down, and the section that he'd climbed was the drop on the other side. And I was like, what are you doing? Jesus. Yeah. So I was a bit like on edge quite a lot with him.
What about the woman who was doing yoga in the airport?
Oh, for God's sake.
I wrote this down because it annoyed me so much.
So, when you're at the airport and there's always that family where the mum has to, like, anyone that's a parent will understand this, where if my kids will say, Mummy, why can I not climb that? I'm like, because just don't climb it, because it's not safe. You're going to fall and smash your face and there'll be blood everywhere, so don't do it. And boys will go, oh, okay. So this woman was with her kids, and she's like started doing some, like, she was interlocking her fingers and extending her arms out. And I was like, what's she doing? And then she started doing the downward dog. So she took a yoga mat with her at the airport, and she's like rubbing her genitals on the floor and while she's doing these different yoga poses. And then her breathing, I'd message you, she sounded like she'd come off a ventilator. She's like, So she wanted everybody to look at her. And I was like, what are you doing? Just have a gin and tonic like everybody else, or a beer, and stop doing that. It was so weird.
Some people,
I know. And she had short hair and yoga pants on.
Yeah,
she didn't have a bra on. She wasn't wearing a bra, and you could see her nips through it, and she's in her 50s. Like, that's too much for me.
I got on a plane yesterday, and so it was going to Switzerland. So there's quite a lot of German people on it. And the guy in the row next to me, I'd clocked him already. He basically looked like an overweight Antonio Conte. Except he was wearing a full Bayern Munich club tracksuit with matching baseball cap. This man was 50. And I was like, and I just knew straight away, you're a wanker. Because what are you doing? Wanker. You're like, I really wanted to go to him. Sorry, mate, what team do you support? But he was wearing a full Bayern Munich tracksuit, the hat, right? And then he just kept complaining about everything. And I only spreche ein bisschen Deutsch, so I couldn't understand everything. But he was just pissing and moaning about every little thing. And I just think, some people, you just clock them, don't you? You just think you're a twat. There should be a special paddock, like a twat paddock, for people to go in. And that lady doing yoga, the security should come over and be like, oh, right, okay, you are going to have to, we're not going to kill you or anything, but you are going to have to live in the special twat.
Yeah, where they, they have those little those little containers for smokers. Just put them in there and lock them away.
Yeah, and do you know what? Right, along with the people who ride their bikes with a radio or a boombox, so that everybody else gets treated to their music, or even worse, right? Even worse, people who listen to music on their headphones when they're commuting and sing along. Or like
what
J-Lo.
Do people do that?
Yeah, to be fair, I do that. But I don't sing out loud. I mouth it sometimes.
It's in your head, isn't it? All those people, they think they're in 8 Mile, and they'll be rapping along, practicing their bars, and it's like, mate, you're on your way to work at Nixon's.
I've never seen anybody do that.
But that's a London thing. If you're commuting.
Yeah. And I'd like to add people on the plane who have high blood pressure and put their blood pressure tablets in the cargo, because I don't know if I told you guys this, but I was on the plane to Cyprus in June, and all of a sudden
Smacking
there was an announcement. I wish I did. It would have been a much better story. There was an announcement, and this is not
cutlery. I'm joking.
This is not what you want to hear on the announcement. So firstly, they asked, bearing in mind I've only been flying for about an hour. Firstly, they asked, are there any doctors on board? And I was like, oh, here we go.
Oh, shit.
And then
here we go.
And then 10 minutes later, yeah, it is. It actually, 10 minutes later, they're like, unfortunately, there's a passenger very ill. We're gonna have to do an emergency landing at Frankfurt. Really? And Frankfurt is like over here, and the path to Cyprus is like here across Europe. And so, literally, when I tell you, it was like some sort of movie. The plane was just like that, and it literally went like
wow,
almost like a crash landing. And I was like, firstly, I was like, okay, am I going to die? And secondly, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, this geezer just literally forgotten his blood pressure tablets. And you know, the plane landed and he literally walked off about 2 minutes later, and he was absolutely fine and went into an ambulance. Well, I'm hoping he's fine, but they said he was okay.
Oh, you silly
and then we were stuck there.
Blood pressure tablets. Come on, then we'll get you to Cyprus later. There we go. First one in the season.
I knew you were going to start with that accent.
I couldn't help it. As soon as you said
some point.
Frankfurt. Oh,
Frankfurt, yeah.
Silly Englishman. Come on. It's like Iron Napa here, but less fun. Come on.
I have to say, the German police are very good looking, by the way.
German people aren't they? Sometimes they can be quite sort of statuesque. No one's got any opinions on that.
Tall and
To be fair, I was thinking back. They were very good looking people. For some reason, I just had the impression that they weren't. Why? I don't know why. I don't know.
So
it just
racist.
Came from absolutely nothing. But they think that we're ugly and like crumpet eating yellow teeth tea drinkers. Like, I don't know, I guess you just have
isn't
made
it
up
awful
stereotypes
that people around the world think that British people are like chavvy with shit teeth.
Yeah, I hate the bad teeth thing. Is really irritating.
But when you go to like America and stuff, everybody has really nice teeth. And then, but like, that's obviously everyone wears braces and it's really normal. They've all got like massive white teeth. And then when I've spoken in the past to people, like especially in Brazil, this guy once said to me, he was like, it's so sad that you all talk funny and you have shit teeth. And I was like,
they genuinely think it, don't they?
Yeah. And
it's
just
mad.
Like, why do you not all have like surgery and have your teeth sorted out? And yeah, I was like, well, that's not a very nice thing to say. But then you start staring at British people's teeth, and it's like we all have shit teeth. Our dentists just don't care.
That is outrageous from the Brazilians.
It's mixed.
Yeah.
It's mixed.
Yeah, but in the era of Invisalign, everyone's got decent gnashes now, haven't they?
Yeah.
Hannah,
but
you got your Invisalign done, didn't you, by Gavin from Stockport or whatever?
Well, no, Gersha. So I used to text every Friday and he'd be like, yeah, your fucking teeth have moved, put your new fucking braces on. Pay a fortune. There's 100 quid. But yeah, I thought that his name was Gersha. So I had to go and do this recording at the dentist and be like, it's one of the best things to do. It's like a great thing to get Invisalign. It'll really change how you look and you smile and stuff. And my husband did it too. And they basically did this close-up where they're like, Andy's like, yeah, everybody get it done because it's really good. And then they got this close-up of Andy going, and then used this on the advert. So Andy's like, it's life-changing. And it's literally, and then they were like, Andy, can you both redo it because his name's Gersh. So we got the dentist's name wrong that we've been seeing for 2 years. We had to re-record it because we called his name. We said his name.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
Like that guy when I first started presenting and I went to London, and this agent was like, so what you want to do is basically you want to be coming out of the club with Frankie Kokosi because he's really hot on X Factor at the moment.
Is he the one who wrote all the names of the women that he slept with on his bum?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think, that rings a bell.
Yeah, so it was like, you want to be coming out of the club with Frankie Kokosi and get a profile, because at the moment you don't have one. And is it Kokosi or Kokosa?
Kokosa.
I mean, he's not an important person, so it doesn't matter.
No, it's just funny.
I feel worse for Gersh.
Yeah. Gertha.
For fuck's sake. And then basically, I was like, oh, I've just got engaged. So like, I was kind of hoping I wanted to get into like sport presenting. He's like, no, women don't do sport. You know, that's not a niche kind of thing. There was this huge fat guy and he was sat on a sofa, like how you're sat, Mike, right now.
What are you trying to say?
But you're not fat at all. You were nothing like this guy. But that was his career advice for me from his big leather chair, which obviously I didn't take him up on.
People are such scumbags, aren't they?
Me and Frankie
Ugh, they're actually
Kikosi.
gross.
Frankie Kikosi. Me and Frank Kikosi. Hello, I'm
Hey,
looking for Frank
Frankie.
Kikosi.
Let's get to Vodka Revs at weekends and hang out back of it. Not hang out the back of me.
You can hang out back of it. Oh, he's going to need more space on his bum. Hannah East, check. Completed it.
Hannah Krillman at the time.
Oh.
Even bigger tattoo.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I've been away. Yeah, it was good, thanks.
How's your summer been, Joe? You've moved into a flat with your girlfriend, haven't you? You haven't talked about your girlfriend and we've been doing the podcast for like 20
bloody
minutes.
hell, no beeps.
Jesus.
Fuck's sake. Well, yeah, I saw her yesterday for the first time in about a month. It did feel weird. It did feel like a bit like I was coming home and it was her flat.
Did it? Right.
Yeah, it did feel a bit. I did feel a bit. The dog was ever so excited to see me though. Bridget.
She wasn't.
Hey, I tell you what, Joe, get that on the premium content.
Here we go. It's table time all over again.
Yeah. How's the dog? She's good, thanks.
Yeah. Cheers. And that'll be £5, please.
But right, listen to this. So when you're in America and people don't like, Americans aren't very good. Like they don't really know, not all Americans, this is a sweeping generalization. They're not that aware of the rest of the world and other cultures. So I was in a place called Roseville in California, which was like a little town outside Sacramento. And I basically, like, the first night I got there, I was like, yeah, I can have some bevies. I've been traveling for like 20 hours. I'm on my own. I'm going to go to Roseville. And it was proper like small town America, like little wooden fronted shops and all that kind of stuff. And like the old like Main Street, all that sort of thing. Anyway, so I went into this bar to have a drink and there were these two couples there on a double date. And like halfway through like their conversation, one of the girls just turns to me and was like, do you have an accent? It's like, well, I mean, everybody does. Specifically, yes, I do, yeah. And she was like, where are you from? I was like, the UK. And she was like, oh my God, the Ukraine? Do you get back to the Ukraine much? What's it like there this time of year? And I was like, to be honest, love, if you're thinking about a holiday in the Ukraine, it's probably not the right time.
Yeah. What's it like? War-torn?
Yeah. To be honest, I bet you can get fucking cheap hotels, but like I wouldn't be going if I was you. And I was like, no, I'm from the UK. And like we just started like just chatting generally. And it transpired that none of them in this group had a passport. And that's quite common with Americans. And so one of the couples was really like quite embarrassed by their friend. Yeah, and the other two were like basically just totally oblivious. And she was like, why would you need a passport? And I was like, well, to travel. And she was like, but we've got everything you want right here. We've got mountains, we've got the beach, we've got skiing. I was like, no, but you can experience other cultures. And she just looked at me completely blankly.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, but in the time it takes you to get to New York, for example, I could be in Istanbul or I can go to Barcelona or Oslo or Berlin or wherever. Like Europe's amazing. There's so many different cultures on your doorstep. And literally she was just totally oblivious. This woman also told me though, she was like, but to be fair, I forgot to register my child's birth certificate. And I was like, pardon? She was like, what? Yeah, I had to pay to get it done when he was 9 months old. And I was like, don't you just do it at the hospital? She's like, yeah, I forgot. And I was like, well, you're a moron then. Like that.
Oh
so her child is not registered?
So he is now, but she just fucked off out the hospital with this baby. And they're like, to be fair, they probably were like, oh, he's got no chance anyway.
That's so weird.
Yeah, but they have to pay for it though, wouldn't they? Because they literally pay for everything. They pay for how much is it to have a baby? Like it costs thousands, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
literally.
bill you or you claim it on your insurance.
Yeah, but if you don't have insurance, It's screwed.
Yeah, well, pretty much. But yeah, I went to Los Angeles as well.
Oh, I know.
you?
That's a bit of you, Joe, isn't it? Very
No, I don't like it very much. It's a bit
very
grim.
plastic.
What stuff have you What stuff have you been doing? Like, is this a world record thing?
It is. It's not a world. I'm not doing a world record.
Like you've been recording it?
Most boring trip ever. Joe Forrester, you win. Loneliest man. No, but I've been like going around the world doing stuff for like Guinness World Records, filming people doing records and stuff. So the lady, so I was in Mexico, and a guy called Nico can hold a one-armed handstand for the longest. So there you go. And in
I can literally just imagine your face when you get the brief, Joe.
Yeah.
Honestly.
That's quite cool, to be fair. That's one of the cooler ones.
Well,
there are some really dull ones though.
Well, I went to a circus in Sacramento, and there was a husband and wife, and the wife could juggle 6 objects with her hands and feet for the longest. So she
Whoa.
She, you know, like when a baby's having their nappy changed and they lie on their back and wiggle their arms and their legs, she sort of gets that position, and then we're like and catch it with her feet and stuff. It's fucking mad.
That's amazing.
And her husband, right? I'll send you guys a picture, because her husband can balance on the most benches on top of a moving object for the longest. So this is quite hard to like describe, but he's basically got a plinth, which is like, say, 6 foot tall. On top of the plinth, he basically puts like a little metal tube. So sort of looks like a foam roller that you might find in the gym.
Yeah.
On top of the foam roller, he then puts a plank of wood. On top of the plank of wood, he puts a bench, like a gym bench, and he balances on that, right? So he's already like 10 foot in the air.
Flipping out.
He can balance on 11 of them on top of the... So he's like 20 foot in the air, balancing on that.
What?
And the act is, somebody throws him the bench, he catches it, puts it on top of the other bench while balancing, and climbs up. It's absolutely insane.
Imagine them two in the bedroom.
Literally, I did think that. I was like, honestly.
Wow.
She's like got his bollocks like that. He's like hanging off the chandelier.
He's upside down. Jesus.
But yeah, they're ever so
That's
nice.
crazy. How do you find out that you can do that though? That's what I don't get with these Guinness World Records.
So they were saying apparently people get in touch with you on like YouTube and Instagram and be like, you might be a record breaker, because they're just doing this stuff anyway, because that's their job.
Yeah.
It's weird though, isn't it? Because they were both like 4th generation circus people, circus folk. So like
circus people.
Circus
Amazing.
folk.
Did you have somebody stood there like a guy with a clipboard being like, yes, you've got it, and like her excited?
That's exactly what we had. So this bloke came and he has to wear a little Guinness World Records suit. So he's got a little blazer with like the logo on it.
One.
Yeah.
He's 6'5" and he just has a little jacket on.
But it is quite cute because he's sort of like, it looks a bit like, you know, when you have your first school uniform as a kid and you send a photo to your nana. It's a bit like that, because it doesn't really fit. Guinness, for some bizarre reason, have flown me to Los Angeles, but they haven't spent more than 20 quid on this geezer's outfit. But yeah, so basically he stands there with a little stopwatch and a little clipboard and whatever, but they got the record like 6 months ago, so we were just faking that. Sorry to let you see behind the curtain. But in Mexico as well, right? So I went to the spa in this hotel I was in. It was ever such a nice hotel.
Of course you did. You love a spa, don't you?
But right, it wasn't that relaxing because I didn't want to shell out for the massage, but I paid for hydrotherapy. So basically that means I thought it means you get access to like the plunge pools, the sauna and the steam room. But the woman from the spa follows you round. So I couldn't enjoy it. So she's like, right, come this way. How do Mexican people talk to me like this, okay? And what's up, sorry, I'm allowed to do that. Oh, no, maybe, who knows?
Probably not.
Premium content. Rosed, the racist edition for £5. Sorry, I'm only joking. I'm fucking around. But she followed me to the sauna. She's like, come in here. I take your robe. And like took my robe off me. I had my trunks on. And then she's like, okay, I'll come back and get you in 15 minutes. And like she left me in the sauna. And I was like, because I'm British, I was too scared to leave the sauna before she came and got me, because I thought it would be rude. So I waited in there and I was ever so...
It's a long time for a sauna, Joe.
Really hot.
3 hours.
Halfway through, a big bald man came in and went, I need to put this on your face. And then just put a cold flannel on my face without me
Asking
asking.
to say something else.
Yeah.
But literally just put this thing on my face and just like,
Spider-Man.
sorry.
Oh.
La fiesta mia.
No wonder why Jess is so off with it.
But then she came and got me out the sauna, and she said, "Right, okay, now you're going in the steam room. You can cool off in there." And I was like, "That's weird because it's quite warm in the steam room, but whatever." So I let her shepherd me into the steam room. Bless you. And she closed the door, and then she picked up. There was like a shower nozzle in the corner, and she went, "Sorry, it's quite cold," and then just hosed me down without asking me. I was like, like standing there screaming, and she was really laughing.
And you paid for this?
Yes, it's $35. And then
what makes me laugh about this whole thing is the fact that you said at the start of the story you were wearing trunks. You weren't even in like board shorts or anything. You're there in a pair of like men's knickers.
No. Trunks are like shorts, aren't they?
No, it's not Speedos.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Trunks.
I don't want to imagine that.
Budgie smugglers.
Yeah.
But then she was like,
trunks.
and she was laughing because I was really cold because she was spraying me with a cold hose basically. And then she was like, sorry, and did it all over my head. And I was like, fuck off.
This is bizarre. Well, you're too polite to say anything, so you should let her do it.
Oh, it was awful.
Mate.
But also I've been wearing, I've taken to a look that I know you like, Mike. I've got a bum bag, which I wear crossbody.
Yeah.
It's so convenient.
Yeah, it is, mate.
Because young people wear it, don't they, to be cool?
Yeah.
But apparently, right, I was talking to a guy in Mexico about it. He said, oh, I like it. He said, but we would never wear that here because that's basically a sign that you're selling drugs. And I wasn't.
Really?
Because, like, I feel like...
Yeah, I get, yes. Great ease of access.
Yeah, well, if you've got drugs to sell. But I was just keeping my sunglasses and, like, my charger and my sun cream and stuff in there. But...
Yeah, and your face mask.
So there you go, that's that. Right, should we do some football stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, back by popular demand, it's time for things that make
God, do you know, I forgot about this all summer.
I thought it was time for table time. I was actually looking forward to that.
So did I. I was actually like, oh, this is going to be brilliant, isn't it?
Can we do table time instead?
We'll do table time in a
He's
minute,
licking
Mikey.
his microphone. I'm actually just wiping my nose while you do this.
Mikey, we do table time in a minute. Oh, Andy, you got such nice feet. Let me give them.
Can we just clarify, by the way, about men's trunks? I need to go back to it.
Yeah, trunks are shorts, Hannah.
They're not shorts.
Yeah, they are.
If you say put your trunks on, you put in Speedos on.
No.
Hannah.
That is so wrong.
Hannah, Google swimming trunks.
Swimming trunks.
I don't know where my phone is. My legs
swimming
are
white fronts.
I've just Googled swimming trunks, right? And I'm going to put this in the chat.
They're shorts.
Bear with.
Hannah, I knew you were confused, but...
Yeah. Just again. Just another word that means something else in Northallerton.
Oh, God. Right, okay.
Have you Googled it? It's true, isn't it?
So what did you think they were like Speedos?
Yeah.
Oh.
How come I learn things about life so much on this fucking podcast every week?
I just don't know what you've been doing for the last 30 years.
No, and when I said to people about Michael Bublé and David Guetta, I said a few things on holiday and our friends like really laughed at me and I was like, what are you laughing at? Like, you're only joking, you don't say it like that though, do you? And I'm like, no, I'm only joking. And then I don't know what it is that I said that was wrong.
What do you call trunks then?
So to me, put your trunks on are like Speedos.
Yeah, but you would just call them Speedos, wouldn't you?
Shorts. Swimming shorts.
Swimming shorts.
You're not even wearing board shorts. Also, it's not 1998.
Yeah, what is it?
Like fucking...
What is it? Board shorts?
Oakley board... Mike, you're too young to
What's
remember.
that?
When Hannah and I were
surfing.
at junior school. Yeah, these were trendy, weren't they, when we were at junior school, Hannah?
I've got visions of you in Speedos at this spa where the man jizzing on your face and then a woman pressure washing you and you being like, that's what is making me laugh. And now that you're just wearing shorts, I'm like, not funny anymore. Anyway, you carry on. Sorry,
But Mike, what's made you go, yeah, I'm going to need blood pressure tablets if you keep doing that, babe.
Oh my God. Look how much he's laughing at his own joke. He's been waiting all summer to do that. He's been waiting 2 months for that.
But Mike, what's made you go, this week?
Tough one. I'm going to say the City ground.
Oh, okay, Forest.
Yeah. First time in 23 years, I think, that they were in the Premier League. And obviously they got a win over West Ham, which was really impressive. And more specifically, I think Nico Williams, I was really impressed with. He was freaking brilliant.
Dean Henderson saved a penalty as well.
Yeah. You know what? Like, great story. And it's just good to see like teams coming up and not being afraid to go for it and not just sitting back. Like we saw with Fulham as well in the first week against Liverpool. Bournemouth as well. They won their first game, didn't they, against the odds? And yeah, it's good to see. Forest as well. Big club with great history. So yeah, good for them. 11,
12, 13 new signings or something? Most of their team were loanees last year.
Yeah, and it's funny because their owner, Evangelos Marinakis is his name.
And has he got a long fingernail?
Probably. But he owns Olympiacos as well. But yeah, he's just like this big Greek guy just sitting in the stands like, proper loving it that Forest were winning. But yeah, he's really weird because he's like, I think he's also like involved in politics and he's got like a media company. He literally does everything, that bloke.
Oh, what a legend.
Yeah.
There you go.
Forest.
Well done, Forest. Yeah, and it's watching Dean Henderson save that penalty after Rice undercooked it. So,
you tried that one on the dog,
but it's yeah, she loved it. But it must make you think, Hannah, it'd be nice to have a good goalkeeper.
Oh, brilliant! Nice banter. So the other day we were at a water park, and I thought I'm not going to take my phone with me. On? And everybody had trunks on, hashtag Speedos. And I checked my phone because I knew that with a time difference that United were playing. So I was like, we'll get it on catch up that evening because nobody in Canada gives a about football.
Yeah.
Like the Premier League, it's not on any TVs anywhere. We're trying to find somewhere to watch it in like a pub where we were staying at Niagara Falls. And anyway, I had about 14 messages from a lads chat that I'm in of everybody sending pictures doing that to me. And I was just like, that's so unfair. And they're like, oh, you're so what's going on with De Gea? And then I looked at the score and I was like, that is so bad. And then I watched the game last night when I got back and I was like, what on earth has happened?
You're lucky you didn't watch it, Hannah, honestly. That's a blessing.
They could have been like 7-0 up in the first 20 minutes. Jesus, well, first half. I mean, it was so bad. It was so bad.
I mean,
wasn't it?
They were, to be fair, talking of things, we will get on to United, but talking of things that make you go, Ivan Toney's assist for, I think, the 4th goal.
Yeah.
Was it the 3rd goal?
Absolutely.
Mbumo, for Mbumo's goal.
Yeah. Boom. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So good. Brilliant. Kind of like half volley. Absolutely amazing.
He's great, isn't he?
What about Leo Messi's overhead kick? Do you enjoy that, Mike? That was quite fun.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, Leo's back.
Little chest and overhead kick.
There's some like I didn't really look into it, but didn't Mbappe do something dodgy? He like barged past him or like brushed him aside or something like that. I read about it, but I didn't look into it too much. But yeah, obviously things at PSG are a bit mental all the time. But yeah, it's good to see Leo getting involved again, isn't it?
Well, new head of strategy, Kylian Mbappe at Paris Saint-Germain, has decided now he wants Neymar out. So apparently that's his new.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it? That is mad. So
they were playing at the weekend, and halfway through a counter attack, Mbappe just decided to stop. So they've given him the biggest contract in football history and said he can decide what manager and players the club hire. And weirdly, it's made him go mental. So, Mike, you finally got your own way because we've got a fantasy Premier League.
Yeah, but I'm not doing very well, so I'm not that happy about it. But anyway.
Well, should we do, Hannah, with your really clever name for your team, the Creelmanators.
Are you taking out of that?
I said, what? Surely Real Madrid. Like, you could have gone, like, There's the Creelminators. It's like what an 8-year-old would call that.
Joe, what's yours, mate? What's yours? I'm looking at it now.
Now then, Vardy bum. Now then, Vardy bum.
What's that? I've never heard of that.
Like now then, Mardy bum. Arctic Monkeys.
Sorry, have you just taken the out of me and you got like 21 points this week?
Yeah, but
Did you?
How many points did Joe get this week? Have a look.
I did like 10 transfers.
32.
I'd just like to point out that Matt Carlton is the top of our league and I am second, right? And I mean, I don't want to get too cocky because so Andy East, my husband, has been.
He's third.
I said to Andy, I was like, listen, Mike is amazing at fantasy football because you're really consistent. You're always within the 60s every week. I was really cocky at the start of last season because I was like, oh, I'm going to beat you. And then every week I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, you're actually really, really good at fantasy football. So Andy East has been messaging Mike to get tips.
Has he?
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, I'm good. And then I was like, don't send him a thumbs up emoji when he's answered your question. Like, try and get, you're going to have to do a bit of chat here, Andy. And
he's such a dad. He's such a dad.
He loves a thumbs up.
Yeah.
He is. But yeah, he's been like messaging Mike and I'm like, don't get tips off him.
Yeah. Yeah, but did he tell you when he was taking the out of me?
No, we didn't.
Yeah. So obviously, right now, just looking at the standard, there's 21 people in there, and another player, Rachel Jones. Anyone know Rachel Jones? She's going to be added next week. But anyway, yeah. So Matt Carlton is first. Hannah East is second somehow. Andy East is third, above me by 4 points in fourth. And then Joe. Oh God, I've got to scroll all the way down to find
you
Joe.
have to keep going.
Joe's 17th, and Jess is 20th. But I think she joined late because she's only got 28 points, so she must have not.
It is a real rundown of the biggest sad acts, isn't it? At the top of the table, the two Northallerton in the top two positions, and Andy
what's going on? No, look, yeah. So Andy basically, because he was asking me for tips and stuff, and obviously, I was trying to give him good advice, and he had Rodrigo in his team from Leeds, and I said to him, he's only really scored like 6 or 7 goals in the season max. And then he's bagged like 3 in his first 2. And so, yeah, Andy gave me a bit of stick for that. And I was like, mate, it's just the way the cookie crumbles. No, I actually said to him, which might have been a bit mean. I was just like, well, if you're asking me for advice, what does that make you, mate? And he laughed. So.
I did message him this week, actually, about something. And
friends.
And then I said, I said, how's the holiday? It's just because he's such a dad texter. And I was like, how's the holiday? He said, it's great, Joe. We are having a great time.
Joe, is that what he said?
Yeah.
Did he? Oh, bless him.
He's a bit like messaging a nana.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Well, if I show you literally, if I show you the conversation with my dad, it's pretty similar to what I have with Andy. It's not like he can't even be bothered to put like, you get the different like different color emojis. He just leaves it as yellow. Yeah, just yellow. Like at least be bothered to change it.
I feel like it would be like Andy, I've been hit by a car, and you just get the thumbs up.
Are you okay?
Thumbs up. No, I'm not. My thumb came off, so that hurts. So what do people do? Like, there's a post on our Instagram, isn't there? So Hannah, how do people join?
Oh, for sake. Right, listen, I don't know what Mike's code is. So Mike needs to tell people what it is. Have we got a link in the bio?
Yeah, there's a link in the bio and there's a post on our Instagram.
Yeah, so when you just have to put enter league and then, but if you enter our league now, your points from the previous weeks won't count, will they?
That's
why.
Why does that happen?
Why? That's so annoying. Yeah, I find that really annoying.
I just want to have a look who Joe's got in his team so I can take the out of him.
I've just done loads of transfers because I don't.
Can I grab my laptop?
Oh, he captained Darwin Núñez.
Let me grab my laptop charger while you take the out of him. Yeah.
Well, I've done loads of transfers. Why has my team not changed? So I did it on random because I was away. So when we started doing this, like I had like a couple of hours to register it, so I just did it on random. So now this is the new team. This is very much what you're dealing with now, which is naughty.
I mean, Joe, yeah, it's still pretty questionable. Like, well, you just got too much money on the bench. Like, you got to spread the funds around the first team.
Oh, really?
Sorry, should it not be me giving this advice because I'm ahead of you, Mike, this week?
Yeah, what happened last season?
What are the Krillmanators doing?
Did you? So do you and Andy like confer, or are you very competitive with each other?
Very competitive. So I don't.
So that's why he messaged me.
So we're not allowed to. Is this really weird? So we don't tell each other who we're putting in our team until it's been submitted on after the deadline, and then it's like, okay, who's in your team? And then most of the time we have pretty much the same team, which is a bit annoying sometimes. But we're always, that's really.
Joe, is there a prize for the winner of the Rose Ed League? By the way,
there's got to be. What is the prize?
A gummy.
Well, I mean, it's a bit 2 weeks, 2 weeks too late. But I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Well, no,
maybe like a special video message from Hannah.
From Hannah.
Yeah.
Not that sort of.
Oh, sorry.
You got me out.
Hey, lads. Have a look at this. Get my burger nip out.
See him leave the league immediately. But yeah, I think at the end of the season, there's definitely a prize, isn't there? Should we do a top of Christmas prize and a final winner prize?
Yeah.
It's going to be such a prize, whatever we can get free somewhere.
It depends how much money we're making on subscriptions.
We could get that hair removal cream. I found that the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, we got loads of hair removal cream for pubes, didn't we?
Well, I was going to say, yes, it's good for now else because it didn't remove your pubes. I just had to wash loads of cream off and I had cream in my pubes. Ironically.
It's like
but actually, we should put this at the top of the show. Hannah, are you able to get on the internet? Obviously, because we're doing a broadcast over the internet. Are you? Can you get the table up in front of you, please?
Oh, off!
Yeah,
at the top of the table.
This is everybody's favourite bit.
No, this is. I mean, you know what? I actually wanted to know what the table was looking like. So
yeah, because I don't know until you tell us.
We don't. I don't think we need to look at the table. We don't need table time at the moment.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I think.
Read it out.
Get into the season.
Read it out.
No, I'm not doing it.
You don't want to do it?
No.
Okay.
I'll do table time, but I'm not reading it out. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, well, that's what table time is.
What
it's
else
your
is
segment.
table time?
You read it out. You're the presenter, Joe. We all know what happened when I presented that time. It was an absolute show. Do you remember?
Great.
I always say, so Simon, we're going to see you next week. Then you're all like, we haven't asked him on next week. And I was like, oh. I was so bad.
Oh,
terrible.
God. Right. Do join our FPL league. Right, Brentford 4, Manchester United 0. Manchester United at the bottom of the Premier League table for the first time since August 1992. They've lost 7 away games in a row. It's the 7th time they've conceded at least 4 in the Premier League since the start of last season. And they've got Liverpool next. Mike, just how bad can Manchester United get?
Well, I mean, I look at their games and, Liverpool next. That's a tough game. I think Southampton after that, I can't see where the wins are coming from. I really can't. I think, the only game I can see them winning at the moment is against Bournemouth. Even Fulham, like the newly promoted teams, Fulham and Forest will give them a tough game. It's just shambolic. Like until they get a few more key signings in and until Ronaldo leaves, I think they're gonna really struggle. And actually, like I've been speaking to some United fans and some of them are actually thinking, we could be in trouble. Like we actually could be like in terms of relegation. So that's how bad it could get, honestly.
That's so dramatic.
They won't go down. Manchester United won't go down. No,
but I'm just saying, like, it's that bad that fans 2 games into the season are already thinking, how bad can it get? Relegation scrap.
Well, but surely, Hannah, you're looking this season, because I bet there was a part of you that thought, maybe, title challenge, who knows, decent coach coming in. But now you're going to be looking at it thinking, we can't let the top 4 get too far away from us because we're going to be struggling to even get European positions. Yeah,
I think the biggest concern at the moment, because everyone is going on about Ronaldo, everybody's going out about the owners, everything. The biggest worry at this point in time is that we need to get, obviously we need new signings, and there's talk about Jamie Vardy or more mature players. It's like everything needs to start from the bottom. And I know every week when I talk about them, it's like the infrastructure, but it's like the youth coming through. That whole system needs to be a priority. Then we need to look at, rather than getting quick fixes, we need to be getting people, decent players, to come and play for Man United. The problem at the moment is United are now like a fourth or a fifth choice. Although it's like, the best club in the world, and the stadium, it's like, it's not the best club in the world anymore. The stadium isn't amazing anymore. So the problem is going to be getting people to sign to play for Man United. That's the issue. Because it's like, why would you want to come to United now? Why would somebody in a decent point in their career, other than for money, why would you want to come to play for Manchester United? If Ronaldo doesn't want to play for United, which is very evident, he's like off. He's telling the manager when he's off, and it's like he's trying to run the show. When you watch every single play, nobody wants to be there. That's the issue. It's not. I think the players that are on the pitch now could be unbelievable, but there is something fundamentally wrong within that team, and we've been saying that for the last couple of seasons. But it's so obvious now. Nobody knows what it is, but none of them want to be there, which is why their performances have been so bad the last couple of weeks.
I am going to make a bold prediction, though. I think by the end of the season, Manchester United, if they keep Ten Hag, will be quality. So I genuinely believe that. So the previous two clubs he's been at, I think the first one was FC Utrecht, FC urinary tract infection, and and then obviously Ajax. The players hated him at the start when he was at Utrecht, tomato. They
don't ask me.
Utrecht. The players wanted him to be sacked after a few weeks because his method. He basically works people very hard. He's very he's a disciplinarian. He's about high pressing, physical fitness, that kind of thing. And also he kind of demands a lot of his players. And there's a lot of tactical messages that get across. Once they get it, they're seriously good. And I just think right now he's inherited a shambolic show. Yeah. So they just need to keep faith in him and realise he's not the problem. You've just got to get through this. Because he said the other day, the team has to take responsibility. I feel sorry for the fans. I asked them to play with belief and take responsibility. That is what they didn't do. He's basically saying the team f***ed it. I told them what to do and they blew it. And shipping tons of goals in the first half speaks of a team with no confidence, no belief and no desire. So only 3 sides have scored 4 goals against Man United in the first half of a Premier League game. All 3 of those occasions have come in the last 2 years, though.
Spurs and Liverpool.
Ding, ding. There we go. Sharp. So, Spurs and Liverpool. United have got Liverpool next, Hannah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's going to be horrific, isn't it? It's going to be awful. It's going to be terrible if they play the way they did this week and the week before. It's just going to be embarrassing, and we're going to laugh about it on the pod, but it's actually not funny. I don't think you can blame the manager, because everybody wants somebody to blame at the moment, don't they? Because this has been going on for the last 10 years, and you can't keep going on and on about since Sir Alex Ferguson left it's this, but Sir Alex Ferguson had control of the whole system. So it wasn't about businessmen owning a club and saying, let's do this, let's do that. It was Sir Alex Ferguson was in control of everything. And unfortunately, as the years have progressed since he's left, managers have been coming in, they've been coming out. They haven't been in control of the infrastructure of the club. And that's a fundamental problem that we're facing at the moment. So I think any manager coming in is just, like you say, they're inheriting a team that has no belief. They're inheriting a team that have kind of lost concept of what Manchester United were about when Sir Alex Ferguson. And that's when it used to be so exciting, because everybody had that belief. Every player with that shirt on running onto that pitch, the excitement at Old Trafford was the belief for every fan and every player. And obviously that was the result of the manager being so amazing and being so passionate. And when you go through managers like we've gone through, it's like I go back to when I used to have to do the press conference when I was working on MUTV, and I'd have to talk about Moisey's. What are you laughing at?
The thought of you in a press conference.
No, we'd review the press conference.
You're.
Hello, guys. Welcome to Old Trafford. It's me. Not now, Gavin. I like your trunks, mate. You ever beaten out Bunga?
Can someone turn Michael Bublé down? I'm trying to talk here.
No, I was envisaging Hannah asking Louis Van Gaal questions in a press conference. Louis, hey, Louis, what's going on with United? What's going on?
I love your shirt. Is it from Primark?
You two.
Louis, bloody hell, we are.
Oh.
No, but Hannah, just to, there's got to be some sort of blame that goes to the owners, because they've been the consistent. They've taken money out, and I think I was listening to the radio yesterday, and they said, I think last year the Glazers were the only club in the Premier League to actually take dividends, like and pay themselves.
Yeah,
And no other club did that, and it's just like, everything that happens at the club, the ultimate responsibility falls on the owners.
Yeah.
And obviously after Fergie left, he was obviously holding the club up, and he was, the success was all from him. But after that, the decisions for firstly the directors and the chief execs and the football directors have been abysmal. Ed Woodward, awful. And then their decisions for the managers have been terrible. And I know Fergie recommended Moyes, but after that, Van Gaal, Mourinho was probably your most successful one, which doesn't say much. And then, it's just been bad decision after bad decision. And now, like John Murtough, like why is he qualified to do the job that he's doing right now? I think he was at Everton, and what wasn't really a success story. So it's just like, until those decisions above change, it doesn't matter who you got as manager. It doesn't matter who you've got on the pitch, because that squad, I don't care what anyone says, that is a talented squad.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be doing a lot better.
In theory, it should be doing a lot better. But it's like, why are the owners, like, why are they not there? They should be putting out a statement, or they should be giving people something. Because at the moment, it's like we've lost all that, the Sir Alex Ferguson era. We've lost that. We've lost that passion. That's gone. For majority of fans going to Old Trafford right now, it's not the same as it used to be. And that's because we're getting new managers in that are picking a couple of players who they think at that moment that a couple of signings, a quick fix, we'll get them in, and then they leave. And then the next manager's inheriting the old manager who was unsuccessful. And I know that's part of the process of football, but it's just that it's not what United were about. And I think everybody's expecting it to be back to how it was, and it's never going to be that way at the moment anyway, until we get a manager in that's actually allowed to take the reins and take control. And it seems whoever's coming in to take over the club each time, each manager we've had, that control's been taken away from them. And it's been like the owners have sort of taken more ownership on what's actually happening. And as businessmen, not football managers, they're two very different things. It's not working at all. And it's really sad, because, I mean, it doesn't affect how much you support a team, but it's from my perspective, personally, coming home yesterday and watching the match, there was times when I was like, oh my God, did that just happen? Like, but it's not just one player, it was the whole team. Like, De Gea and stuff. It's like, what is going on? That's not De Gea from years ago, is it? Like, what's he doing? Can you imagine if Sir Alex Ferguson was like in charge right now and saw that? He'd be absolutely raging. But none of the players would be that bad.
So what's your score prediction for the Liverpool game at the weekend?
I think we'll get absolutely stuffed. I hate to say that. I don't want to say a score prediction, but I mean, what can change from last week to this week? But like you say, Mike, the players on the pitch are a talented team. So I just don't understand why they're not executing and performing the way they should, the way that they're paid to do. I don't know. It's really weird, isn't it?
What do you think, Mike?
For my score prediction. Well, I actually haven't been impressed by Liverpool at all so far.
Neither have I. I think it'll be a draw.
I think they'll win. They need a bit of a confidence boost. So who better to play than United? Because they've actually come up against teams who have been really well organised. Like Fulham, had played really well. Like they dominated them. It wasn't just a sit back. And then, Crystal Palace under Vieira, after you called him the Poddington P, they've been like exceptional. So yeah, that was a very disciplined performance, and it should have been more. Zaha should have had two, but yeah, Liverpool have not impressed me. They've got a lot of injuries. Obviously, their 85 million club record signing is now suspended for 3 games after getting sent off, which was complete madness from him. I don't know why he did that. So yeah, I don't think it will be easy. I think Liverpool probably win 2-0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2-0. I mean, look, if Liverpool were in fine fettle, it could be anything. It could be a cricket score, honestly. But this iteration of Liverpool right now, they're not where they should be.
Yeah, I think 2-2. To be honest, there you go.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I do. I think like Liverpool are in bad form at the moment. I feel like it could be the game where United raise their standards, performance levels after another new low for them. I feel like Ten Hag will have just been in their face, waterboarding them all week. I don't know. I feel like it could be
extreme.
Yeah, this could be like a turning point. Well, you haven't been enjoying watching Manchester United. I've been very much enjoying watching Spurs so far this season. Battle of the Bridge, Part 2. Mike, roughly, how much do you love Christian Romero and his behaviour?
I mean, you can guess. I mean, look, it would have been funnier if he did it to Conte, because his wig just would have come straight off his head.
Hair brethren, because he's had hair implants.
What is that? Is that a wig, or is that like a stick-on thing?
I don't know. What is it, Joe?
It's implants.
How do you get? What do you mean, like a hair? What?
So what happens, right, is they like take hairs off your bottom or your leg or something, probably not your bum, but off your legs or something, and they like then plug them into your head. But I found out quite recently, right?
Plug them in?
Yeah, like sew them into your head.
So it's not a transplant?
Yeah, it is a transplant.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, but it's not from someone else. I don't think so anyway. Either way, they got some hairs, all right? and they sew them into your bonds. And then, but for a couple of weeks afterwards, you've got to be really careful of physical activity. So, like, in case they fall out. So, like, you can't do sport or anything. Like, literally, your hairs might fall out, which I think would be quite dramatic if you were like, if you're talking to someone and they nodded really big and all their hair fell out. Like, that would really throw me off. But yeah, so that's what Conte's got. But it was good, wasn't it, when Romero pulled Cucurella's hair?
No, it wasn't good. It was absolute disgrace
in the first half. So that's revenge. That's Rewenge.
No, it's like, you know what? I was obviously, for me, I was basically neutral because I hate both Spurs and Chelsea. So it just cancels it out. I was just so shocked that the referee and VAR didn't give that as a red card. It's just mental how you can do that. What I did love was the two managers going at it. I thought that was great. I thought Conte was very out of order to go and scream in Tuchel's face, but the way that he reacted after the goal, like doing a full Jose Mourinho, was absolutely fantastic. And then that handshake at the end, it was a theme of the weekend. Gary Neville, Jamie Redknapp saying it to Gary Neville. Look at me when you talk. It was that as well in the game. It was look at me when you shake my hand. So yeah, it was
so
box office.
Do you see what Antonio Conte then put on his Insta story afterwards?
Yeah. He said I should have tripped you up or something.
Yeah, he said he's like of a still of him looking down, shaking his head, and Tuchel running past him to celebrate. So it's lucky I didn't see you. I'd have tripped you up.
Yeah, it is top notch banter from both of them. And what I liked is that in the press conference, it didn't evolve into this beef or drama. They just both said, it is what it is. It's nothing. We move on.
Yeah,
so
it was pretty funny.
I like how they kind of pull that card out. It's emotional, but it's okay.
Well, basically,
they love saying that, don't they?
Also, because they get this stupid thing, don't you? Like, because I can't stand Martin Tyler anyway. But you kind of get the nobody likes to see this. No, everybody likes to see this. You're the only loser who doesn't like to. What? Two grown men having a fight on the touchline in a football match? Yes, please. And the players having to be like, lads, come on, like we're trying to
The
play
ref
here.
going over, being like, guys, just calm down.
Yeah.
Like, come on, boys.
Yeah, it's like, Antonio, you're a grandfather. Come on, like grow up. Like, what are you doing? I loved it. I thought it was absolutely wonderful. And I like
that every week.
Yeah, I like new Spurs. Romero pulling people's hair and like screaming in Reece James's face after the equaliser. I like it. I like being horrible.
He's such a Romero, isn't he? What a twat he is.
Yeah, but he's an Argentinian centre-back. If he turned up, he was like, oh, hello, you're right. Do you want a cup of tea? He's an Argentinian centre-back. Like, literally, after heading and tackling, they teach them, like, but obviously you've got to be a total well. Like, that's part of it.
If you want to play, that's what you got to do.
But I wanted to say, like, Mike, what's your favourite brawl in Premier League history?
Oh, favourite brawl.
Pizzagate is quite good, where Cesc Fabregas threw pizza at Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, I like the beef between Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira in the tunnel. That is got to be my favourite, because that just embodied like what football was about growing up for me. Like those two going at it and absolutely despising each other. Like you could tell they hate each other.
Like genuinely, not just
genuinely.
Like a pantomime effect. They genuinely hated each other.
Yeah, and obviously the Martin Keown and Van Nistelrooy thing is stands out for me as well.
That was pretty unpleasant, I think. That overstepped the mark, and I don't.
He said he doesn't regret it. So
of course he doesn't. He's a scumbag.
Yeah, but I mean, for like banter value, that's probably a bit over the top. But I mean, Roy Keane Vieira, what a battle!
It's not a brawl, but one of my favourites. It always involves Arsenal, actually. But one of my favourites is Arsene Wenger being sent to the stands and then like standing on the bit overlooking the technical area. That's really funny.
Oh, is that a famous photo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, and also Arsene Wenger versus Alan Pardew. That was quite a rogue one, because it's just you never would expect them to hate each other.
He's a
knobhead. What about Jurgen Klopp and Sean Dyche? Do you remember when they had that little spat down the tunnel?
Yeah.
And afterwards, that was when Jurgen Klopp's like, it was emotional. But really, it's like you can imagine them afterwards, like wanting to kick the out of each other. Love that one.
You wouldn't mix it with Sean Dyche, though, would you? That would.
No. What's happened to Sean Dyche? Where is Sean Dyche?
I saw him in the stands at Forest. They showed him, and he's not got a club.
Hasn't he?
Poor Sean. I felt so bad for him. He was next to his wife, and I was like, could they afford to eat and stuff? I'm sure they can, but that's just what was going through my head. I was just like, poor Sean.
Can they afford to eat? He's worth millions.
He lives in Nottingham, though, doesn't he? Because that's where he got seen, where he went to the club after Burnley sacked him.
Yeah,
in his polo shirt, like an uncle on a stag do.
I think he played for Forest as a youth player.
Well, because he's such a
Lynx Africa.
He might support them.
Yeah, with his Lynx Africa, with his dupe on. I can't place his accent. Only Thierry Henry has scored more goals in London derbies than Harry Kane. Harry Kane's one behind him. Harry Kane has scored 184 Premier League goals, the joint most a player has scored for a single club. Reece James has been directly involved in 15 goals in 28 appearances in the Premier League since the start of last season. But more importantly, it was a cracking game, wasn't it, Mike? Such a good game.
Prime Barclays. Yeah. I think if I was Chelsea, I'd be very upset, because I think they had two decisions go against them. I think Richarlison, it's hard to say whether he was really, blocking Mendy's view for their first goal. So that one's a bit 50-50, but the foul on Havertz earlier in the build-up from Bentancur was just outrageous. And I know VAR can't go that far back, but the lino's right there and the referee seen it as well, and he's waved play on. It's just like, these officials are just, they honestly are. It's just like pathetic. And yeah, Chelsea dominated Spurs, but when Spurs went to a back four, they looked dodgy at the back, but they did cause problems going forward. But yeah, Chelsea should be disappointed, I think.
I love dirty, lucky Spurs. It's my favourite version of Spurs now. I love it. I want to be the Premier League's who everyone hates. That's what I'm really going for. We've been too nice for too long. Just quickly on Liverpool. Are Liverpool now rubbish? Nunes sent off. Van der Vaart? Wasn't Van der Vaart. Virgil van Dijk. Well, it definitely wasn't Rafael van der Vaart. Virgil van Dijk gave away a penalty against Alexander Mitrovic last week.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Liverpool, Mike?
they've had a poor start to the season. I think injuries like Nat Phillips just got ruined by Zaha. He's just, completely took him apart. And yeah, I mean, Palace's game plan worked, but Liverpool, they just don't look at it. They lost Thiago as well.
Yeah.
Firmino was out of that game. They've lost Mane, and I don't really think they've replaced him. I think that's a big issue. I think Luis Diaz is good.
Last week.
Yeah, he scored on his debut, and Luis Diaz looks good, and he scored a great goal. But I mean, for me, he's a busy player, but he doesn't have that end product that Mane has. So for me, they're gonna struggle to replicate that, and I still think they need another midfielder. So yeah, I'm sure they will get back to it soon, but they need a few players back from injury.
They should have maybe gone in for Christian Eriksen, given that he's available on a free. I feel like that would have been a good buy for them. Quick, talking of things that make you go, oh yes, please. Eberechi Eze for Palace, one of my favourite players in the Premier League. Loads and loads of fun. Against Liverpool, he had the most touches, the most final third entries, the most ball recoveries, the most take-ons, the most duels, and his little touch turn shimmy thing, and then the through ball for Zaha. I've just got the water splash emoji in the running order because that's what it made me did. That's what it made me did.
That's what it made me did.
It made my willy be sick. Made the bald man cry. Right, so, but yeah, he's good, isn't he, Mike?
Made the willy be sick.
That willy done been sick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say after that, to be honest. Let's move on. Yeah, great. Yeah, very good.
Right, because this is Rose Ed and everything gets recorded out of order. Mike, no Hannah for this section, but what the is going on at Barcelona?
Yeah, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. It's madness, and it's such a shame to see the club decline and become what it is now. Because thinking about growing up and watching the Barca teams of old, it was just the epitome of what football should be about. Playing exciting football, having the best players in the world. At one point, I used to play PES. And I used to I used to change my formation to put 4 or 5 up front, and I had Messi, Eto'o, Henry, and Ronaldinho in one team, and it was just the most unreal attacking lineup in the world, and probably hasn't been beaten. So
do you know the player you're
forgetting
go
from that
in that 5? Ludovic Julie.
Yeah, Julie. Yeah.
So he's
there's 5. It is actually 5, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's obviously not a massive star, but when I used to play Pro Evo as well, I would stick Ludovic Julie in the hole alongside Ronaldinho behind the other 3.
Yeah, and then Xavi and Iniesta still in the team.
Yeah,
it's the peak of football, really, for me. So to see what's happening now, and they're signing players and they can't register them. I think Frank Kessie and Andreas Christensen have not been registered yet because they don't have the money, and it's mental.
So as of Friday, they theoretically have pushed through all of their new signings to be registered this season. So just to keep you up to date on what's going on, basically Barcelona fell foul of La Liga financial regulations. This is kind of pretty much why they got rid of Leo Messi, because their wage bill far exceeded what it was allowed to be. And basically the club wasn't making enough money, was it? It wasn't turning a profit. So the business was failing, and La Liga, like a responsible governing body, didn't want to allow that to happen. So the maximum you're allowed by Spanish law to cut your wages and stay in the same job is 50%. Leo Messi last season offered to have his wages cut by 50%. That wasn't enough to get, basically, to allow there to be enough money in the pot to register all of Barcelona's other players. As of Friday, 4 of their new signings have been registered. Andreas Christensen, Frank Kessie, Robert Lewandowski, and Rafinha. They're still waiting to find out what's going to happen with Jules Koundé, who's coming from Sevilla. What I don't understand, though, Mike, is this is quite clearly a sinking ship. Everybody in the world, apart from the Barcelona board, can see this is going to blow up in their faces. Why would you sign for Barca at this point?
Well, I mean, look, what they've done is criminal, and they've sold off 25% of their TV rights, which is absolutely crazy. Like it's hard to fathom how much that will be worth.
Yeah.
Because with the rate of football, like the way it's growing and expanding, like what would that have been worth 20 years ago, and compared to what it's worth now? So imagine what it would be like in another 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So you could be throwing away billions of pounds here. But yeah, I guess what they've done is bought themselves a bit of time, and I think maybe it's the Xavi effect. I think people want to play for Xavi because he was one of the best midfielders to ever grace the game, for me anyway. And also the club still has a big name. It's still Barcelona. They still play in the dishevelled Camp Nou.
Well, you see
it's a horrible stadium, but
rats in the ceiling.
Yeah. Mate, I went there, and I don't know why, but the first time I went there, I thought it was going to be this amazing stadium, like the home of football, and it's literally got like blue tape and blue like wiring and stuff everywhere. I think my view's a bit skewed because I bought a pint and I realised that it was non-alcoholic. I was quite annoyed about that. I don't think they're allowed to sell beer in Spain, like alcoholic beer. Well, in Barcelona they weren't anyway. So I had a bad experience overall. And then to make it worse, I obviously went to see Messi and he came off injured after 20 minutes. So that wasn't great. But yeah, I don't know. I think because they've got quite a few players that they're already. Honestly, like, for a footballer's career is very short and fleeting. Like, Rafinha was the man of the moment this summer, had loads of interest. But if he had a poor season, another poor two seasons, then his stock suddenly goes down. So I think they're all just thinking short term.
Well, everybody in the world, though, is absolutely laughing because they know Barcelona desperately need money and to free up money to deal with their wage bill. So their wage bill is the highest in world football. It's around 500 million euros a year, which the second highest is Manchester United, which is still 150 million behind that. And obviously, I'm not just saying this, Hannah's not here, but United are a total shambles. But Barcelona make them look like a well-run club.
Yeah.
So, like you said, they sold off 25% of Barca Studios to Orpheus Media for 100 million euros. This is to generate revenue to satisfy La Liga that they're turning a profit. Xavi said they're still working on player registrations and the club is very positive and not to worry because we've got up to 2 hours before kickoff. So we're not talking about a pub team or like, is Gary around because like, oh yeah, like Andy's sick this week. So, or Andy's hungover. Is Gary around to play left back tomorrow? Like this is Barcelona we're talking about. What are you trying to tell me that their players aren't going to be able to play? And they're now they're looking to sell Aubameyang now to Chelsea to leverage some cash, but he's only been there a few months. How do you see this whole thing panning out?
And what about De Jong? Like the whole situation with him, the reports suggest that he's owed 17 million euros in deferred wages that weren't paid to him. So I think that's one of the reasons why he's been hesitant to go. He's got a lot of teams interested, Chelsea, Man United. And then I think what came out the other day, I read in The Athletic that what the current Barcelona board are trying to do is say that his contract is criminal because of the old the old setup with Bartomeu. Yeah. So they're basically trying to scam him out of his money, and yeah, I mean it's hard to fathom. It's hard to for me as well. That the biggest issue is obviously La Liga and FIFA can clearly see what's going on. Why are they not getting involved? Because this is like gross misconduct. It has to be.
Well, so basically Barcelona, essentially, Jose Maria Bartomeu, the old president, signed this contract with Frankie de Jong, who now Barcelona fans are booing him. They're trying to cast him as the villain, but he's owed money. Yeah. And they signed the contract and everyone went, are we all happy with this? Yes, we're happy with this. And now they won't pay him the wages. And they're saying he's in the wrong. No, Bartomeu's in the wrong. So now they're trying to bring criminal proceedings against Bartomeu. Look, the whole thing's a massive, massive mess. Speaking of massive messes, Oh no!
It's so bad. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm actually really embarrassed by this.
Why are you embarrassed?
Because I've just woken up. I'm not even kidding.
Bloody hell.
So that's the Barcelona section done. We just did a long, lengthy financial chat about Barcelona.
All right, cool. That'd be interesting to listen to that.
Right, one last thing to finish on. We've had not a letter. We haven't had a letter.
That's something I would say. We haven't had a letter.
Nobody's
posted anything in.
We've had an owl from Hogwarts. So James messaged us on @RosedPod. And after we did a little shout out asking for correspondence. And James wants to know, what have you you rolling your eyes at correspondence, Hannah?
No, I didn't know that we'd put a post out about it.
Oh, asking for people. Yeah, we did. It was a couple of weeks ago, but I've been saving it. What have you missed most about each other?
Oh,
that's what James wants to know. So, Hannah, what have you missed most about Mike and I?
He's joking. No, I do like our chats. So
that's the whole podcast, though.
Great.
No, I like. I've missed knowing what you've
really thinking.
Bloody hell. It's the toughest question you've ever asked.
Yeah, missed our banter. That's what I've missed.
Brilliant, Mike. What have you missed?
You know what? I've really missed Hannah's just having the wrong words for everything.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
As evidenced by today with the whole trunk speedo saga.
And do you know what's really awful is I'm a level 3 swimming coach, and I used to run a swimming club, and I used to train 4 hours a day, and I've always called them trunks. Always
did you used to like
speedos.
If you were like coached people, were you ever like, oh, for God's sake, like nobody listens to me, they've got such bad discipline, I keep telling them to come in their trunks and everyone keeps turning up in shorts, it's so annoying. But
well, no, everybody used to wear trunks, so everybody used to wear speedos because that's all you wear when you're swimming. Nobody would ever turn up in a pair of shorts, which you would call trunks, but are actually, it's so confusing. It's just really changed everything today.
Yeah, you don't see that on the Olympics, do you? They don't turn up in their Bermuda shorts and like their Ray-Bans with a Corona in there.
Here, where's bar at, love?
What do you mean we're bloody racing? I'm half cut.
But oh god, so we haven't maybe it'd be nice to just read the top of the table.
That's why you don't want to do it.
Let's talk
United.
about the top four. The top four.
Okay.
Let's do the top of the table.
Yeah. Right, 4 2 games in.
You know, because maybe people listening are like, don't really listen to or watch very much football. So it's nice to know, like,
obviously not because they listen to this.
Week by week, what's going on?
Okay, so it's time for table time with Hannah East, which Hannah East refuses to do. So top of the table, Man City, the rest of the Champions League spots, Arsenal, Brentford and Spurs.
Say how many points they're on too, because that's always a nice one.
Oh, bloody hell. There's only 2 games, Annie. You can have a maximum of 6 and a minimum of 0.
Nice. It's nice to know. In the top of the table. Read it like that.
No, you do it. It's your segment.
No.
It's just table time sponsored by Hannah East.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So top with 6 points of Man City, also on 6 points, Arsenal. Then there's a few teams on 4 points because, as Mike says, there's only 2 games. So third are Brentford, then Spurs, Newcastle, Leeds, and in the Europa Conference League spot, Chelsea, also on 4 points. Also on 4 points, 8th, Brighton. So it makes it quite confusing on 3 points.
Okay, well, just read. You'd have to do
Oh my God. Okay, right, okay. Top of the table, Man City, then Arsenal, Brentford and Spurs make up the top 4. 5th and 6th, Newcastle and Leeds. Chelsea make up the rest of the European places. Down below them, only on goal difference, Brighton, then Villa, Forest, Bournemouth, Liverpool, Fulham, Wolves, Leicester, Crystal Palace and Southampton. Now time for the bottom 3, Everton, West Ham United, and what's this? Oh yes, rock bottom of the Premier League table, no points, a goal difference of -5 is Manchester United. Right.
But that's all going to change. We're rebuilding, guys.
You've been rebuilding for like 9 years.
I know. How long can you try and rebuild?
Right. Okay. Let's leave it there then for this week. Right. It's jolly nice to be back. You can get in touch, Rosed Pod and all the various social medias. You can also join the Fantasy Football League. Details are on there. Do check out the link in our bio for another slice. Whoa. Slice sounds like a vision for vagina, doesn't it?
That's a slice.
It's also
slice.
It's
That's what
also
a
the spin-off show of Great British Bake Off is called Another Slice,
Is it?
by the way. Yeah.
That's a bit sexual for the BBC.
Get your slice out.
It is the
Channel 4.
BBC, isn't it?
And with that inaccuracy, let's leave it. Oh, God. Right, thanks, Mike.
Cheers.
Thanks, Hannah.
Thanks.
See you next week.
Bye.